So, all right, go ahead and update today's video, man. There's a lot of things going on. Prices are down, a lot of different areas. So I figured today probably be great and update the market of the document journaling for quite some time. So, um, I sent the link around. If anybody of course wants to jump in, ask any kind of questions, bring up any particular assets, we can take a look at those. I'm going to begin with XRP, and again, what the market is saying as of now, how it looks with the 19 theory, will navigate and taken in consideration. And we'll just browse around and so I'll see if anybody comes in um, as we're taking a look around. Bear with me here. Of course, I want to start off with the weekly chart because again, I highly been kind of advocating this from a weekly perspective, and it gives you a lot better potential for results as well as less trades, less money spent on trading, etc. So we always want to traditionally look at it from a weekly perspective. I'm gonna zoom out first, kind of look at the big picture and where we're at. So kind of take this out back over time. That is the history of this asset, since about 2020s. If I zoom it in and we can go back and look at a little broader section of it, right? But this has been the history of this asset going back 2017. So, right. And again, the important thing to look at is the accuracy of what I am trying to advocate here. And this is trying to identify the trend based on the 19, right? Exponential extra moment. And of course, anyone is following knows that the 19 is going to be this yellow line. So again, we had a breakout back here, hovered around. We had another breakout, got above 19. Downtrend, obviously, lost the 19. So this has been historically accurate throughout the life of the asset, and it gets us into where we're at today, right? And so sometimes people say, I want you to be able to see this trend has been historically accurate with asset. I dare say any asset, right? But let's zoom here where we're at today. We're going to take a look at what's going on. So, and importantly, we see that we're down in this area where we're kind of testing the 19 on the weekly chart, right? So if we happen to lose this 19, of course, myself, I'll be taking it up off the table. What is, I believe, set around this 43, 31 type area. And I'll be taking something off the table. And of course, yesterday I did have a trade executed. I had to get right back into that trade because price recovered, and I'm sitting here today as comfortably as anyone else back into the asset, right? But I protected myself in case this move had have been more significant, right? And it went down back into this area, right? I would have been actually profiting. So I didn't lose the thing, but I protected myself for that brief moment that it did go up to the 19. And if it happens to go under it again, I'll be taking some back off the table. And anticipation that this could be significant enough to profit off the downturn. Now, I'm going to take away this candlestick for a second so we can see something. And that even though we got that price action going down under the 19, it did recover because we didn't get this 3 crossing back over. So we'll be watching not only price going below 19, if this 3 happens to cross over, it's going to certainly accelerate that. We have detailed that a little more on the daily chart I'll go to in a minute. But right now, everything is importantly kind of resting on what price does. If it breaks down under this 19, right? Conversely, price happens to recover, right, where we're already above the 19 now. But if we stay above that and kind of turn this into support, and then the 11 cross above, then this should give us some momentum back into these areas, testing this EMA and back in the upward direction. So right now we got, direction it can go either up or down, but we're pivoting essentially off this area, 4331. Use that. I'm taking some off the table, trying to drop it down. Of course, if it recovers, puts me back in, and I'll be, back for the return. Right now, I'm just watching to see where it goes. That's how we're playing it, right? So I'm going to jump down to the daily, just kind of details what we're actually looking at. And so, again, we had the breakout moment here, had both crossed the white line and the blue, your 3 and your 11. That was the moment we waited on. We saw the support as it took all the way to the area for a nice gain. Right? Started to see the breakdown, got the cross on 11, started to support on the 19, and eventually we lost it, right? So, again, this is where we're looking at on the daily, and we get these additional crosses to tell us this is trend is certainly not over, right? Because now the 11 is coming up, 19 down with momentum. It's kind of our last area of support. It's our last EMA. This region right here. Of course, I probably got some more range, right? But you see how close. Once we get down in here, we're back on that chart for the weekly. Daily chart. This would past your last EMA. Blue sky is going the opposite direction, right? Then anything becomes on the table, and the way you find support, you have to go to the chart to then try to identify where your supports could be. I'll still your daily. It's like we certainly are trending in a downward direction. We got 11s crossed, trying to hold support in this area, which what happens. But if you took the early entry exit that is based on this methodology, you've already exited. Wait to see where it goes, right? If it's on the weekly, the back trend. And both scenarios are applicable, right? Just depends on what your risk tolerance is and what you're trying to do. So, jump back to the weekly just a second. And again, as I said, higher time frames, right? Because we can see all the above resistance up here, right? And the only support you have is this 19 and 11. But again, you want to actually find that support over another frame, right? And then all your support is very visible on the monthly chart, right? So we're in this region now, right? Trying to stay above this 3, at least from a monthly perspective. I will maintain some upward momentum based on that monthly. Still have this as support, and we have this support. We lost this support here. Take us to our very last support. We articulated from an EMA perspective here. So we have some supports that are kind of holding us up in here before any of this lower range gets put on the table. I want to be able to see this conversation about going back to these lows. Supports. This one is most important. It's in 29. If we were to lose that, then it's on the table, right? Including this low support, potentially breaching that and going even lower. This is why I said if we go back to the target, why I would be off the table. I know that I could get some bounces here and I'm looking for them. I could get bounces here and I'm looking for them. But if for some reason the market is so depressed, We go back into these areas, right? At least I'll be profiting this down instead of just wondering why is the market bad and why is it bad, right? We're turning into a positive, but we can see even as we're going up, we're using these EMAs exactly as resistance. So it's not some previous price that was over here. Kind of patterns, exactly details, the moving averages. We'll need to get through on our way to try to, in that more bullish environment in the blue skies region past this area here, or EMA above that, right? And that's essentially what we want to get into. So this is the fight that we have to get into. You see the supports that are supporting us. That just gives you a very accurate description of where we're at with XRP right now, right? Even if you're a very conservative player, you want to go on this monthly chart, entries and exits won't be efficient. Benefit you. You can see to so your entry, your property entry trend remained. Few weeks of trading of safeness went on to profit you. You had your breakdown, and you then profited a whole lot, right? So actually identify. I'm gonna switch the point right quick. I have been on this, and I know talk about it. Drop it here right quick down to a weekly minimum. So this monthly chart. So we'll come down here to the weekly. So bingo. We're last kind of been looking at, and a lot of people are wondering should they been jumping out after this big run up on quant, right? This is the topic of a lot of conversation. Jumping out, running, and again, I go by this 19 method. So if you haven't lost 19, which is at 123, you're still in a macro uptrend. There's no reason to jump out. I think, right? Because our previous video we didn't have it, but we just got a new moving average right there, right? We can see it, and it's exactly the point where price got support on this moving average and it's above the weekly. So that to me is a very important scenario. It is positive above all the moving averages, including very weak support of 3, right? And it's all these. You got cross here, you got cross here, 19 trying to come up and cross here. So this thing still looks very bullish to me. Even though it did have some cool off moments during this week right here, right? I would overall say this is very positive. Now, if you're, like I said, a little more tolerant, more day kind of chart situation, but with the still in mind, right? Your breakout moment was way back up in here on your last daily breakout, ran on up. We had one moment where you went out, it recovered again. They climbed back above the 11 and still. So you're not even on the outside from a daily perspective here, right? You're still sitting positive above the 19, just waiting for this to go on the new gain. So if you're finding an early out want, right? And this is just not a price is just based on this theory that chronicalizing based, right? Then the perspective out would be right here at about 165, right? Unless you reach that, be concerned about getting out and just keep riding this thing wherever it goes. But you is to be right, safe early exit. Start to go down. I think the weekly is probably right up in here about 117 or 118 probably. Maybe it's about in this area one. I think we said 123. Look, breach these areas. I'll come back and take a look. That so you want to stay out, right? And then pick up whatever it gives you downward perspective, right? You get buy back in. So you can tell I'm not really interested in profits running away with that, but taking these exits gives me an opportunity to then put it back, increase the bag. Particular, so it was at 123 for the macro trend for quantitative per day, and the weekly are both still net positive. So right about exiting quant now. The anxiety is high, all the recent gains. My suggestion as far as what the product link is. educate right now, not price calling here. Even from a 4 hour, right? Your last entry, right? See where you, if you would plan this in a 4 hour, your stream kind of broke down, lost the 19 here, right? Trying to recover, lost it, broke down because it lost the 19. And currently it's struggling to get back above 19 here on your 4 hour chart. So kind of going to break through this major resistance. When I say major resistance, this resistance that exists here on in this 177 region before it gets back into its kind of blue sky 4 hour perspective. On the daily chart was indicated in this region, but at least for the short term, we see what, you know, having to battle through all this. So you're not going to see any fast movement up because all of this it had to break through, right? And getting your crosses back, getting your 11 moving back up, all of this needs to happen. Do these happen. So it's a good way to understand that I've been able to get these EMPs and what it's doing. Another important thing, of course, I always chronicle is the index because it's quite relevant. It just messed with my audio, maybe a little choppy, so I apologize. Sound is choppy. Let's see if I can do anything about that. All right, testing, testing. Is that any better? I see you, at least one person was on the stream, so maybe you could help me out here. Testing. Better. All right, so great. I do apologize, man, and I never kind of really listen to myself when I'm doing it. No, so thank everybody. You know, sufficient. But yeah, I'm gonna just quickly go over the dollar here, right? And I'm gonna get the time frame, go back to the weekly, and looking at DXY is showing us that it's still very strong, right? We're on a weekly chart, so we know we're not in a short time frame. We had this breakout. If we compare this to the 19 theory that we're speaking of here, right? About here, you can see how here's the 19 support to walk this way up to these very high regions that we sit today. So I'm not looking for crypto to kind of go parabolic. You know, we've had access like Quant XRP and some other ones kind of fake until the dollar actually reverses this trend. Still in this upward trend for the dollar. I'm looking for the dollar to go to a reverse trend, really see some crypto move, right? I've been saying this for quite some time. Nothing much else to say, but this trend is continuing, right? So looking for an early breakdown of 108, right? And that was in on this DXY. That'll be the moment that really right now it's just straight up as you can see about the chart, right? And so we're gonna have to DXY to cool. Everything else is just kind of noise in between that is what I've been trying to say for quite some time. Just need to keep it. So I always want to go back what this is, how it is keeping the risk assets still suppressed as long as it's holding this. You can look at this from daily chart as well. Probably see the same strength. Let's see what we got here. And computer's getting a little choppy now. But yep, we had some little downward movements here for a moment. Got strong, tried to go back down and still sit. Dollar sitting strong until that changes. I think these assets suppressed on that thesis that I've long since had. Check back stream. Okay. Erroneous. If you wanted to ask a question or pull up a particular asset, I am kind of looking back at the chat, so you can just put it up. Look at ready to get up. the daily for Bitcoin, obvious downward, right? We're under the 19. 3 is pointing down. Here, let me go so we can see this a little better. So particularly when you zoom in here, you can see this pretty clearly. 3 rejected its cross going above the 19. It stalled any of this movement that had got above the 19. Back into this cross is going up. Not never made it across here on this particular cross. So it's pretty easy to see what the health of this asset is when you have the EMA up, right? It's in a down trend, 3 down perspective. How Bitcoin is from a weekly chart. So when you look at it like that, it becomes very clear. I recovered the 3, certainly had 11, certainly not recovered the 19 at any breakdown that we our last breakdown about 43,000. So no signal to ever have gotten back in this asset, ever even tested the 19, right? It's just straight down, 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 down. And it's easy to see. If I go up to the monthly, we can actually see the actual support. I'm not having to manipulate my EMAs or anything, right? This is just my permanent metrics. So the actual supports to a T chart. So this is historical support. And when I say historical, I mean historical. This is our historical support. If we happen to lose this EMA is on the table and see what that price is about 15. So and if for some reason we lost that, our worst case scenario around here, I wouldn't anticipate it going lower than that. But you would have long since been out, and if it happens to go lower than that, actually growing your bag with this region. Again, shows you how easy it is to buy these supports, these crosses that have been continuing this downward momentum with this 3 continuing across these higher numbers, across the 19 here, to add downward momentum. So this is what you can expect from Bitcoin. I try to make this very difficult as if this is kind of hard to do and hard to forecast when you look at this chart, TA. It becomes very add too much. So sitting in a downward place, great buy area, right? When this does recover, you're getting all those returns. So it's in a great buy area. It's not of being maybe stop loss or where you would to out and then if you are still buying, right? But that's big. Right? And it's how easy it is to identify. I say historical support, and I emphasize why I say that because in our kind of most bearish for during the March situation, COVID, right? And so we had a big everything, stocks, crypto, everything. And it got down to some of the lowest prices we even had thought to seen those $3,000 Bitcoin, right? $3,800 Bitcoin. More interested, this this EMA was your historical support. It's a little deeper than previous lows that Bitcoin experienced after this bull run, which was this, right? So this was it lower ones. Right? It had this one and had this one that it never had to test. It just maintained strength. But as soon as we lost this one again, we went straight through orange looking, right? And immediately came here. And this is to date, ever since 2020, even when we're back in this much worse economic environment, our economy, maybe not worse than but before inflation and other things, right? This is a economic environment. We're still using the exact same EMA as the exact same support. So I'm anticipating if whatever term right to where I had always anticipated that we go to based on this historical information here. right? And then I know use this, which is starting to look like we have some potential to actually do based on this cross right up here. It's 11 potential crossing that can accelerate this enough to where we lost support here. If that happens, right, I'm expecting it to come down here to this support, or at least use that support and stay in this range somewhere. Right? Would be my next here. I would probably redeploy any of the money that I took off the table. And then if it happens to lose the blue line at the lower end of it, right, drop back out here. I'm playing this in Bitcoin going forward to make sure I share that. Maybe considering doing it too based on how the performance, right? If you had a great, right, monthly conservative basis, right, based on your trend upside back here that you took to an exit here. That's a very conservative way to be it, right? Because you only had, going back to May 19, had one trade out, 1 month of trade back in because it could come out in that month. 2 months worth of trading, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total months that you would have to execute going all the way back to 19. So it's not something you would have to trade a lot on or worry about, have to watch a lot. You just 7 periods or months that you would have the number of trades exits that would pass over years worth of time. So it's a very good way that you can play these as well as you can use monthly chart. So yeah, I think I could Bitcoin, dollar, P. Oh, let's just take a. I'm gonna take a browse these. We'll just kind of look at how similar all these patterns are, and if anything's kind of showing anomalies before I get all of here. So, what this pattern looks like, right? Your breakdowns 19 sitting at its bottoms, right? Under everything, under 3, under 11. This just remember this pattern. You're gonna how often you're gonna think like pattern. It's break 19, sitting under everything currently. Same exact patterns. Should break down here. No clear get back. Same exact 3, under 11, under 19. No deviation, right? All these charts, for the most part, like to show the pattern. I want to show that it right. Same pattern. Break down 19. Same little attempt to recovery. It stayed out. 3, under 11, under 19. BNB is a little different. You see, looking at, but overall, same pattern, same breakdown, same attempt to recover to its low. Did try to recover more and so closer to its current than mostly of the other assets. Men are still trending absolutely down, right? So you got your 3 here and it's pointing down, your back down. So there's definitely recovery going on there. It does look a little different than some of the other patterns. XDC, very similar pattern. Only difference is this one has a little bit closer to a recovery. So it's using this 11 as support right now, very close to breaking out of the 19. So I am watching this it recovers to appreciate hoping that I get a 3 and 11 cross to then try to take on some of these. Otherwise, I'll be rolling profits back into XRP. Deviation of the 19 direction. Algo, same as Bitcoin and the rest of the market. Maybe it's kind of in the XDC territory too. get an XDC territory, but overall, 11 and rejected its attempt to get above the 19 there and went back totally bearish. Not much deviation for algo. H bar. Almost same pattern as the rest of the market. Offer its big breakdown. Never recovered under 3, under 11, certainly under 19, but a pretty big assets in my opinion. And I'm sure they'll show very similar patterns. If people want to, again, ever ask about any of these other assets that I don't typically don't chat or something like that, and I'll up on it. But yeah, I hope this information helps. Again, the main thing that we're looking at is your relationship to this 19, which is always yellow line. If you're on my charts, I do share this chart, so that if you go to my Twitter page, tweet, you can always find out where we're at. I share this complete setup on it. In case you don't want to go through and set up these EMAs, you're not able to set up these EMAs. You can follow along on my chart just by tweet on my Twitter account. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers the cover today. As usual, I know I always say some things I don't want to be pigeonholed in, but it is very important so people can see how it. So I can be trying to do this. But I think I've demonstrated over the months that I've been doing this so far, historical evidence that you can verify for yourself how well it continues to perform in the future. This is a very workable method that people can improve management. Want to try to turn into a trader, not a trader, do whatever works for you. That is absolutely it. But if you want to manage your portfolio and getting again, this is not trading. A lot of times when people use on trading and say, "Oh, I'm doing this all day, every day," you may be just trading a few times in a month, right? Very few that you will have to make. Check yourself for potential unrealized losses into real gains. Trying to get and trying to identify these moments when these assets are probably going to go kind of to the upside, no matter what the asset is. It helps you not to be influenced by other people's opinion. Themselves probably appear to be these TA gurus, and they give you all of their information, which is very good information, right? But it puts you at the mercy of their impression of the data. And what I'm trying to give you is you can always look at a chart and see yourself, okay, how is what the chart saying, right, in reference to this 19 theory at matching up with what this other person is telling me from their technical analysis, or is matching up with what they're saying from a fundamental analysis, right? Emails, right? Something may happen positive. Right now, we're looking at percent. We're in a moment where this 19, we go into a very kind of downtrend. So emails are not that important to me as what's happening here on the chart. Right? I'm very excited that they got emails. There's a potential and XRP is not or is ultimately I'm watching the charts and not what's happening. So thank everybody, man, who may watch this information, and I'll catch y'all down the road. Yeah, and I hope you all prosper. Peace.